Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of Rendezvous with Anza Saqib on CxO Global TV. CxO Global Forum is a knowledge sharing platform for all sea levels across Pakistan and the globe. We take massive pride in contributing to the knowledge economy. Every time we've got some very interesting guests with us. We've got domain experts, thought leaders, influencers, the movers and shakers of the corporate industry, and they're all very experienced and thorough professionals in their field who have learned not just academically but also on the job. We do bring them forward for them to share their knowledge with you so you all may be able to benefit, learn, unlearn, relearn, and then create a better understanding of systems, people, places, and business for yourself. Today, we've got a very interesting guest joining us from Turkey. His name is Alper Berber. He's a gamification designer at BrandNewGame Turkey. Alper, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for inviting me.
Welcome to the show, and very very warm welcome from Pakistan as well.
Yes, we have the panel before.
Yes,
I tried to.
absolutely. Alper, so I just wanted to know, so, I was going through your LinkedIn and you've done so well for yourself. You have a lot of experience, but I want to know, where did your journey begin? Where did you go to school? Which courses you studied? And how did you uh, decide that you wanted to become a gamification designer?
Uh, in past, actually, I was a finance guy. My father was a
Oh, wow.
CPA.
Oh, wow.
Yes, a very big, long journey. Actually, my father was a certificated public accountant. My mother was retired from a Ministry of Finance, and I studied economics in university. And after
Uh-huh.
university, after graduation, I started working in finance departments in some multinational companies, but it wasn't something I used to like.
Mhm.
One about 6 years ago, me and some of my friends started to make a digital application. It was a fashion application. It was helping you to make better choices while you are buying some clothes. For example, you are wearing a blue shirt. As
Yeah,
I
blue
see, the
shirt.
color is
Yes,
blue. Yeah. And you
yes.
go to a shop, and the one is blue, and you want to buy one shirt, but there are two choices. One is blue, the other is red, but you cannot
Right,
decide. You
right.
take your photos while you were wearing it in the fitting room and uploading them to the application we were building. And the
Okay.
people following you and the people following the hashtags you have entered were seeing your photo, and like Tinder, swiping,
Oh,
they were
wow.
swiping right or left, and it was giving you some advices about which fit you the best, and you make
Mm-hmm.
your choice. And we were working on it, and we asked that question: how can we make people use our application more, and how can we make our audience suggest our application to others? This was
Right.
these two questions. We were looking for answer for those two questions, and we are met with gamification. But
Oh, wow.
on those days in Turkey, there wasn't a name called oyunlaştırma, translated gamification, translated in
Yeah.
Turkish, and we couldn't find any source in Turkish. Then we bought books from Amazon, found some online
Mhm.
videos, and improved ourselves, and we tried and integrate it to our app. And
Mhm.
we start our journey, gamification journey, like that, but our app didn't work well. We don't say it failure, we say it experience.
Mhm.
It didn't work well, and uh, but we learned
It was a
gamification.
Yeah, it
uh,
was a failure. And what did it teach you?
Gamification, it wasn't a failure, it
Oh,
was
lovely.
experience. We don't call it it was it was the first entrepreneurship we did. For that's why
Wow.
it was learning path in our journey. That's why we couldn't make run our application, but we learned gamification in there and
Okay.
used in our daily life. For example, we were eating some or drinking with our friends, and one of the worst thing, wildest thing with your friend is focusing on the mobile phones. We are talking
Yeah.
to a friend, and he also, yeah, you are correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And we made games like, let's everyone will put its mobile phone in the middle of the table, and for if 45 50 or 45 minutes nobody will look at them. If anyone checks, he will pay or she will pay all the stuff we have eaten or we have drinking in those 45 minutes. We did games
Yes.
like that, and it was nice. But after we stopped our application business,
Mhm.
I entered a company which was an startup, and I learned how to think like an entrepreneur, how to behave, how to work, and
Mhm.
luckily, owner of Brand New Game has visited Turkey for a workshop, and there was a mutual friend, a very good friend of me, the mutual friend. Yeah, I met with him, and we have traveled in Istanbul. We have become friends and decided to build the business in Istanbul also. Then we visited him in Holland. We worked in his projects. We learned about the culture of Brand New Game. We have entered Gamification Academy, take lessons, and returned to Turkey and start our gamification journey of Turkey in Istanbul.
Right, absolutely. Wow. So that's very, very inspiring, Alper, and so proud of you for having been through that journey. But let's come towards gamification now. So when we talk about gamification, it's a buzzword now, and it from what the general public's understanding is that gamification is, about taking something that is not necessarily a game and applying game-like mechanics to it to increase, like, let's say, user engagement, happiness, loyalty, so on and so forth, right? So, what exactly is the definition of gamification? What all does it include?
Yeah, the easiest definition, I think, the easiest definition of gamification using the motivational factors which motivates people to play games, and implementing the factors which makes the games motivate people to non-game areas. Because you play games, do you play games? You
Yes, of course, I play so many games. Yeah.
game, and you know how games make people motivate, how engage people, and how make them spend their hours and hours and hours on playing.
Yeah.
You only see the badges, points, leaderships, next levels, opponents, and etc. The other game mechanics, but there are some other designs behind them in the background.
Okay, which are?
There are some flow theories or some making people move one side to other sides. There are some
Oh,
details makes people
yeah,
play more, and we use them on non-game areas, and feel make people feel like they're doing business like playing a game, and
absolutely.
motivate them on them. Because when you compare life and game and the experiences in life and games, they're so similar. In games you have a object to reach, in life
Okay.
also,
Yeah,
and there
there's
are
a
some rules.
goal and objective.
Yes, and there are some rules in games and in life also, and there are some there are challenges in games in life also, and they're so similar. And we say that when you but we talk about games which motivates people, uh,
Yeah,
we can say that good, well designed games, not every
well
game,
designed games.
well
Absolutely.
designed games. When you
Absolutely.
make these design techniques, enter these design techniques into the life experiences, you can make people engage more, make them live these experiences with more motivated, and then you can get the results with more quality and more results. You can
Absolutely.
rise their
Uh,
productivity.
right. Alper, before designing anything for gamification, has it also made you understand the human psychology, human behavior better?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so what are some of the two, three things that you learned after doing gamification about employees, about people in general?
Yeah, first starting. I'm not a psychologist, that's why I don't. Yeah, yes, I have improved myself in psychology also, but I want to tell more about how we start making a gamification design, because
Right.
the most important factor in gamification design is the target audience, and you have to know them very well about their demographics, about their cultural types, about motivation of them, about their abilities, skills. First, where we're starting a gamification design, we make the first step is making the uh, purpose smart. I mean, you can say
Okay.
that you have a website and you want more traffic. You can say that to me. I want a gamification design to improve my traffic on my
Website
website.
traffic. Yeah.
I can say that what is improving your website? 10%, 50%, and how long? When do you want it? We ask some questions and make the objective smart. And with gamification, you make behavioral change. You change people's behaviors. You motivate people to do something different. For example, you motivate people to chew gum instead of smoking. You motivate people
Right.
to drink water
More
in
water.
the dinner instead of drinking Coke. Blah blah. You can you can think about more
Yes.
examples, and that's why you have to know what behaviors should your target audience make to reach your purpose. You get those behaviors. You or make the list of behaviors. You choose which are the easiest for target audience and which brings more return. You again choose that. You make
Okay.
calculations and know and try to know your target audience. And after you
Absolutely.
know your target audience, you say that this target audience will make those behaviors, and then you
Yes.
start making using these behaviors to prepare a game. For
Right.
example, Mario
Absolutely.
jumps, but you do another behaviors on your game like jumping. How but Mario jumps? You use your behaviors in the list in your analyze process in your gamification design. Okay.
Absolutely. Alper, now we've noticed that gamification is very successful in the education sector, right? So, when, for example, if you want to teach kids about science and math, and you add the element of gamification, it's often successful. But which other areas has it proven successful in? Like which other sectors of the, I mean, maybe like the food business, or we know some international brands do it, like KFC and all. But which businesses is it most successful for?
Actually, I want to say that firstly, yes, gamification is very well in education area because in every game you learn, because games
Okay.
are based on learning. But instead of learning, education sector, I can say, automotive sector is using very well, and especially we don't fast consumer good sector also using gamification very well, and mm, apps. I can say we can technology sector using gamification very well and benefiting from them. But instead of sectors where I can show examples like in a for example, human resources use very well, or
Right. Okay.
sales department. Sales
Okay, so
department
sales
use
department
gamification
as
well.
well.
The sales department, human resources departments, and marketing departments use it. Uh, mm, Using more and benefiting more. Well, we don't want to think on sectors. We try to think on departments more, because human resources in every sector. There are some differences, but the main point is making humans or sales. It differs from sector to sector, but you try to make your salesperson, sales staff to make more know about the service or product and try to be more productive or whatever behaviors needed to make the sale. It works in every sector.
Right,
Actually.
absolutely. Also, an interesting thing, Alfred, that I've noticed is that, for example, whenever we go to these coffee shops, right, and we get like these on my phone, I get this card. Let me show you, and then they're like, so each time, um, you go for your sixth coffee, it becomes free, right? Or
Yes.
maybe a referral program. And I've seen a lot of restaurants and coffee shops doing this, right? Is this part of gamification as well?
Yeah, we can say that it's gamification because it also motivates you to change your behavior with using some game-like
Loyalty.
techniques. Game-like techniques. You can also see
Okay,
that
so
on
yeah,
games.
game-like
And
techniques.
this is
Yes.
this for loyalty, and this is the first commercial gamification example on Earth. At the end of the 19th, it was what was SNH Green Stamps. Do you know what SNH
Okay.
Green Stamps? It was
No.
using some example like that in the year of 1898. In the year of 1898, they were using stamps. You are collecting stamps from their shops,
Okay.
collecting them, and buying some little stuffs in their shops. And this is the
Okay.
first commercial gamification example on Earth. And
Okay.
it's
Wow. Wow.
Mhm.
So that also makes me make me come to an interesting point, which is that, so gamification, does it always have to be digital, or can it also be like analog? Like, for example, you said in the form of stamps or something.
No, it can also be analog. Not it doesn't need to be
Okay.
digital.
So
Well, this
it
is
could,
a,
anything like loyalty cards or something can also be gamification?
yes, of course. Yeah, think about your games. You don't play games digitally always. You can play chess or you can play
Yes,
basketball. They're
absolutely.
also analog. That's why gamification is something like that. The main point is, what are you going to? Why are you going to make a gamification? If it's not needed to be digitally, don't make it digital. For example, in our gamification Turkey, I will show it also. Gamification Turkey
Yeah.
summit
Mhm.
in 2017, we gamified the event, and we only used the walls of the event area, some post-its, and event cards event cards
Yeah.
that the
Okay. Wow.
audience has previous. And we only used these tools to make a gamification. We group people, we built a bridge between the audience and the speakers. We made networking conversations to be talk between gamification, talk around gamification.
Right.
We didn't use something digital, and there are a lot of examples. And
Okay. Lovely.
nowadays we don't, but nowadays we are not able to be physically close to people. That's why.
Yes. So post pandemic, there is more scope for gamification, right?
Mhm.
after
More.
after covid after the pandemic, we have realized more of a need for gamification, because people were very demotivated, especially in the workplace and so on. Everyone was so scared. So did you find that gamification played a role in uplifting their moods?
Of course, gamification will uplift their moods, but as there's also something case like that, uh, as the uncertainty of gamification of COVID increases, gamification is not the solution in there. There are because every case, every little detail might affect the motivation of people. It can be about
Absolutely.
economics. It can be about a war all around the world. It's like a pandemic. That's why, yeah, gamification improves some mood in the business area and makes people to sit in their home and work more closely to their work or more effectively. But to have a exact result, this pandemic has to be more certain. Yes, gamification works, but gamification is not a solution for pandemic. In the pandemic, a real pandemic solution for the companies. The
But
real
speaking
solution
of
is to be. Uh-huh.
Absolutely. But speaking of health in general, I remember a very good example of gamification. Something I personally experienced was that, when this game came out, Pokemon Go, and it encouraged, so they gamified walking. So I remember each time, like, it encouraged me to take more steps, and then each time, through the VR on your phone, virtual reality, you could find Pokemon and everything. So I believe, and I noticed that it really took my step counts up. So I think there's a lot of potential for it in the health sector as well, right?
Yeah, of
Encouraging
course.
people to be
Also,
healthy.
yeah, this. First, I don't know if I'm not sure if Pokemon Go was a gamification example or not, because they weren't making people. They weren't. Their purpose was is their purpose to make people walk. It affected people
Okay.
positively, making them walk. But in health sector, there are some examples also. For example, a bank in United
Emira.
Arabian Emirates. I don't know the countries, the country around them. A government company, government bank make their clients to foster their clients to walk with
Yeah.
a increase in their interest rate. If you walk 10,000 steps in a day, your increased rate interest rates will be more 1 point. You will have a
Yes.
one more point.
Absolutely.
There's some gamification examples like that on the people's health, but in different sectors.
Absolutely, absolutely. Another area where we see a very strong example of gamification is HR related training, so human resource and trainings, and that's how they, sometimes I've seen some companies have also started doing appraisals and promotions of their employees based on gamification. Have you seen an example of it?
Gamification, yeah, there are some examples, yes, and also I witnessed some. But the gamification is making here the thing
For
gamification
human
is
resource.
making here is that making the work more transparent, because games are
Absolutely.
more transparent than the usual company structures. That's why it affects people to be more. It affects people to be more productive, because they know that if I do something good, it will be obvious. People will see it. People will know it. I did it. That's what is. It
Absolutely.
affects people, and it also affects promotion of their titles
Absolutely.
or their positions in their company. Mhm.
Alper, unfortunately, we've come towards the end of the interview, so we've run out of time. But thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you all the best. We look forward to hearing more from you
Mhm.
and hopefully doing business in Pakistan as well. But Alper, towards an end note, I would like to ask you one last question.
Mhm.
What do you think is the importance of forums like CxO Global?
Can I get the question again?
Yes, what do you think is the importance of forums like the CxO Global Forum?
I the CxO Global Forum. I also run in a not forum but a community like Gamification Turkey. The
Yes,
importance is uh, the, there's a very this is, the business is a very big ocean, and people are swimming in different source, and there are
yes,
so many people who, if they make them come together, very good results will be born, very good business will start. And this,
absolutely.
yes, these organizations make people to use their potential more with good networkings, with correct networkings. That's why, yes, this is my
Right.
opinion is a good um, organization, good work, good attempt to make people use their potential
Come
more.
together. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And it's lovely because, we can get in touch with everybody globally who's doing some kind of work like us. Alper, thank you very much for joining us. Ladies
Yeah,
and gentlemen, that was Alper Berber all the way from Istanbul in Turkey. If you want to learn more about gamification or maybe do some kind of research about it, or just get in touch with Alper and see where your synergies can align, write to us, or you can find him on LinkedIn. As well as thank you so much for watching us. We look forward to your comments and feedback. If you want to learn more about us, that's www.cxoforum.global. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you again next time.
bye.
Bye.